When Angel Reese stepped onto that Victoria's Secret runway, it was supposed to be her moment. One that blurred the line between athlete and icon. The lights, the cameras, the applause. It should have been the scene of triumph, a celebration of confidence and individuality. But instead of cheers, she was met with mockery. In an instant, what should have been empowerment became controversy, and the media turned her walk into a weapon. Critics wasted no time. They dissected her stride, her outfit, her smile. Commentators accused her of chasing fame instead of perfecting her game. Social media mocked her with memes and headlines questioning her professionalism. But what they didn't question was the double standard, that male athletes had been doing fashion campaigns for decades without ridicule. When Angel took that same step, she became the target of a storm she never asked for. Behind the scenes, her team tried to do damage control. Her publicist issued a statement celebrating women's empowerment, but the narrative was already out of their hands. The internet had chosen its villain. Every outlet had an opinion. ESPN panels mocked her, tabloids framed her as a diva, and sports analysts accused her of losing focus. The same voices that once called her the future of women's basketball now questioned her character. Angel didn't take it quietly. She fought back, not with apologies, but with honesty. She spoke about how exhausting it was to constantly defend herself, how the media's portrayal of women like her wasn't just unfair, it was dehumanizing. "When I express myself, it's a problem," she said. "When others do it, it's empowerment." That line echoed across the internet like a battle cry. Fans reposted it, celebrities supported it, and for the first time, the tide began to shift. But with every ounce of support came another wave of hate. Reporters accused her of playing the victim, and headlines suggested she was sabotaging her own career. A viral op-ed titled "The Angel Reese Problem" tried to paint her as her own worst enemy, claiming her confidence was arrogance disguised as empowerment. But Angel wasn't moved. She had been underestimated before, and every time, she'd risen higher. In her next podcast episode, she spoke directly to her critics, calm yet firm. "I'm not here to fit anyone's definition of what a woman in sports should be," she said. "I'm here to show what I can be." She didn't curse or lash out, she just reclaimed her voice. That calm defiance resonated more than any rant ever could. Clips from her show went viral, with hashtags like #LetAngelBe and #DoubleStandard trending across platforms. Fans who once stayed silent began calling out the hypocrisy of the coverage. Meanwhile, the WNBA could no longer ignore the situation. The controversy had grown beyond sports. Talk shows, fashion outlets, and even political commentators were weighing in. The league released a cautious statement supporting players' freedom of expression, but fans saw through it. They wanted real support, not scripted PR. Even former players chimed in, saying the league should defend its stars the same way the NBA protects its own. "When LeBron claps back, he's passionate," one wrote. "When Angel does it, she's a problem." As days turned into weeks, the narrative began to evolve. The same media that mocked her started publishing think pieces about the unfair treatment of women athletes. Journalists questioned why a confident black woman was labeled combative for the same behavior that made men competitive. The story was changing, not because the media wanted it to, but because Angel refused to disappear. Her resilience became the story. She kept showing up, to games, to practices, to interviews she could control. Her play remained consistent, her focus sharper than ever. She turned down fluff interviews and only spoke in spaces that respected her voice. Slowly, fans began to see her not as a controversy, but as a symbol. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting for every athlete who had ever been told to stay in their lane. Then came the moment that silenced the critics. During a post-game press conference, a reporter tried to bait her with a question about her attitude. Angel smiled and said, "Next question, unless it's about basketball." The room fell quiet before erupting into laughter and applause. That single moment captured exactly who she had become: composed, self-assured, and in control. Behind the cameras, teammates called her an inspiration. Brands that once hesitated to associate with her began calling again, eager to align with her authenticity. She turned her podcast into a platform for athletes to share their experiences with media pressure, and suddenly, her name wasn't tied to scandal. It was tied to change. By the time the noise faded, Angel Reese wasn't the athlete mocked for a runway walk. She was the woman who turned mockery into movement. She redefined what it meant to be powerful in an industry that often tries to limit that very power. Her story became a testament to authenticity, proof that staying true to yourself, even when the world twists your image, is the ultimate act of defiance. Angel didn't just reclaim her narrative. She rewrote the rules for how athletes are allowed to exist. And she did it with grace, resilience, and an unshakable belief in her worth. The same runway that once symbolized her humiliation became the stage for her triumph. The same media that tried to bury her ended up amplifying her message. What began as a public takedown became one of the greatest comebacks in modern sports culture. Angel Reese's story isn't about a scandal. It's about survival, growth, and the refusal to be silenced. So now the question isn't whether Angel Reese went too far. The real question is, why was her confidence ever considered controversial in the first place? Why are women still expected to shrink for comfort when their strength should be celebrated? Tell us what you think. Has Angel changed the way athletes are allowed to express themselves? Drop your thoughts below, and if you believe in stories that challenge the narrative, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the truth behind the headlines.